Xenia, the Greek word for hospitality. I had loved the name from the start and didn't hesitate to write a check covering all the cost of opening David Corbus' first restaurant in Northern Ontario. One meal. That's all it had taken to win my approval and my endorsement. But what a meal! Hot lemony soup, succulent lamb, roasted potatoes, mouth-watering vegetables, and 3 tantalizing dessert choices. He had planned it well, maybe too well. David could cook, and he could charm. While his age was still a mystery, he was younger than my 52 years. The eternal Peter Pan who seemed to never age. He could pass for late 30s, but I suspect he was closer to 50. I enjoyed flirting with him and loved sitting at his table, but I didn't envy his wife, Susan. The first week of November, she had shown up at my recareering office for a free counseling session. Hesitant and unsure of herself, she had shivered in a 3 sizes too big man's parka, while babbling about lost opportunities and living hand-to-mouth in a small rental. Throughout the session, all she could talk about was her Greek husband's extraordinary chef skills and his misfortunes in Toronto. Her eyes narrowed as she spoke of the deceitful brother-in-law who had bankrupted them and forced them to flee north to Sudbury. When I offered to counsel David, she shook her head. "No way, Gilda. He'll never come here. He's too fidgety for all this sit-down talk. All he wants to do is cook." She snapped her fingers. "Why don't you come to our place for dinner this Friday? Maybe you could counsel him between courses." Greek food was my weakness, and I wanted to meet the chef who had fallen on hard times. I agreed and showed up on Friday at their small bungalow. From the start, David focused on me. He complimented my appearance and flirted throughout the dinner. I blushed and stammered at each compliment, but Susan didn't seem to mind. She joined in and encouraged me to try all the food on the table. I helped myself to all 3 desserts: Dayton almond tart, walnut cake, and honey-baked figs with hazelnut ice cream, and couldn't believe how wonderful everything tasted. When I suggested they open up a restaurant, David hemmed and hawed about the worsening economy and his newness to Sudbury. He had applied to over 20 restaurants and had yet to receive an offer of full-time employment. I was tempted to suggest he consider the part-time options, but didn't want to appear too judgmental. Susan had signed up with a temporary placement agency, but the income was sporadic and not enough to meet their expenses.
"I'm nobody here,"
he said, glancing down at his plate.
"And with my credit rating, none of the banks will endorse a loan. I'm screwed."
"What if I backed you?" I couldn't believe I was speaking so calmly while my heart beat at an alarming rate. David rubbed a hand over his chin and flashed a grin at me.
"Gilda, darling, you're sweet to offer. I don't think you know what's involved here."
Susan nodded in agreement. Were they playing me? Since winning $19 million in Lotto 649, I had encountered many sharks who hoped to prey on my easygoing nature. A quick Google search would have revealed my 3-year-old lottery win. Old news, but still there on second and third pages. "Would $100,000 be enough?"